Okay, time for Fans Forum. We got people on our live stream, probably got some questions along the way. And we've got people who, of course, have joined us on our YouTube channel, too. Go ahead, John. What do you got?
Okay, so this one is from Baller P, and he says, "We Raider fans don't like Tom Brady because of the tuck rule."
Well, yeah, there's a lot of people that probably think about that, but they did change the rule after the snowball incident. The Patriots and the then Oakland Raiders. I just think it's because Belichick is the one that got the most value out of Brady. Had there never been a Tom Brady in his life, if they had never given him the opportunity to play in New England, Belichick probably wouldn't be a head coach. He'd probably have been fired by now. I mean, Belichick's record without Tom Brady is sub 500. With Tom Brady, his record is absolutely phenomenal. I think in the big picture, aside from the Raider fans' condemnation of the tuck rule, in the big picture, I think there's just dislike of Brady just because he's the reason Belichick is still in the National Football League and was really, really successful.
Yeah, I think you can look at a lot of other things that have happened in the history with Belichick and Brady. I mean, there was the Deflate Gate, with the balls. There was, that's they were spying on the other team's
Oh,
practices.
yes.
And so, Belichick and Brady, it sort of like flows to both of them, the hate, even though one might have been orchestrating it and the other one was maybe innocent in the whole thing. But I think in the end, people want to tear down the winner. I remember in the 80s as a Niners fan, I had so many people I knew that hated the 49ers because they were just tired of them winning all the time. So fans are fickle this way. You know how it goes.
Okay, that's enough on that. I like Brady. I guess I'm in a minority. That's okay. Next question. What do we got else here?
Okay, this is a good one. This is from our YouTube channel. This is from Napoleon Madrid. And this was in response to the question of whether the Chargers should cut Keenan Allen, which got phenomenal response on YouTube. And he said, sign, cut, or release, it doesn't really matter. Team will hover around the 500 mark regardless. Bolts need to run the ball and stop the run. Easy peasy.
Well, you're correct in your assessment that they are deficient in the power run game. I think they're a little bit deficient with a bunch of warriors in the offensive line. Their run defense has really been substandard. But I think if you look at their whole roster, athletically, they are a very dynamic football team. And of course, they got Justin Herbert, who has just put up unbelievable numbers in his first 3 seasons in the NFL. But they're going to have to add players to make Kellen Moore's offense work. They also need a stroke of good luck. They've had so many injuries in the last 2 seasons alone. I mean, it's just been devastating, notably in the offensive line. And I don't think this is a physical training thing. These are just football-related contact injuries where I'm blocking you and I don't have the good angle and you overpower me and I tear my pectoral muscle. Or I'm pass blocking here and my center rolls up on the back of my legs and blows my knee out. They are just football-related injuries. But that being said, as Kellen Moore said, speed is important. And they're going to go get, I think, speed wide receivers. And along the way, they have to shed this Beach Boy persona that we're from Los Angeles and Southern California and the sun on the sand. They need a couple of warriors. They need a couple of offensive linemen that are maulers, and they need more physicality at whoever that next running back is to complement Austin Eckler.
Yeah, well, we talked about the NFC Championship game, how it was a war in the trenches, and that's where the Chargers are deficient, is being able to run a power game. And then you talk about they want speed. You often hear speed kills, and speed never goes into a slump. So that's a smart way to go. Maybe they get a Tyreek Hill type of player on the outside.
There's a lot of athletes out there. They just got to go find them, and then hopefully they keep them healthy. Next question. What do we got on the fans forum?
Okay, so this is another comment about the Bruce Arians video clip that we did that got tremendous response as well. And this is from Joshua Porter. He says, Bruce can't go back to coaching without the Bucs getting a compensation for him, just like we had to pay to get him. Bruce has no one to blame but himself for leaving us toilet bowls. So look in the mirror, BA.
Well, there's a couple of angles to that equation. It's become an in thing. If I fire my coach and I'm still paying my coach, then you owe me compensation if you'd like to hire my coach. That's an issue because this is about the 4th time it's now happened in modern day NFL football, as witnessed by what Denver paid a 1 and a 2 to get Sean Payton. I think Arians has a tough time getting this out of his blood. He left the Pittsburgh Steelers to take over Arizona, did really well for a period of time, and then obviously got bounced. And then he wound up in Tampa Bay, did very well, and then obviously it unraveled. Uh, his health issue to me is of supreme concern. He's a two-time cancer survivor. There's been a heart issue there, but yet he can't get this coaching thing out of his blood. My gut feel was that if the word spread at the end of the season, he wanted back in, but he did not talk to anybody, did not interview anybody. I wonder if those teams are saying there's an age factor here, we're not going in that direction, or whether he thought more about it and backed away from it. I do know he's really upset at Todd Bowles, and he handpicked Todd Bowles to be the head coach in Tampa Bay. If you recall, a year ago, he was still the head coach as we went through the Super Bowl, and the coaching vacancies filled up and all the guys were taken. And then after the Super Bowl, he stepped away and he went to ownership and said, Todd Bowles deserves it. Well, Bowles took over. It was a miserable season, injuries. Now, Bowles fires 9 assistant coaches on Arians' staff, and Arians is really upset about that. But if he wanted to coach, I would have thought he would have been in the interview process for one of these franchises, and did not happen. So there's probably a story behind that story.
Well, you commented quite a bit about the wear and tear mentally that these head coaches go through. And you often commented about Bobby Ross and all the hours he put in. How can a guy like Bruce Arians, with heart conditions, other health issues, survive that lifestyle? I don't know.
A lot of guys can't.
Yeah.
Yet they're still employed and they keep doing it. The Dick Vermeil stories of mental exhaustion and sleeping in his office 3-4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way the NFL operates right now. I mean, the coaches like Mike Tomlin and Chuck Noll are few and far between. I want you out of here at 5 p.m., go home and be with your families. The stories of Bobby Beathard telling his scouts, you're on the road Monday through Friday. You go everywhere from Stanford to Slippery Rock. I want you home by Saturday to be with your family. Those guys who operate under those standards, very, very different.
Wow. Yeah, it's a whole different era in the world of college and pro football. I think, there's all the videotape, all the archival data. You got analytics guys crunching numbers. It's a whole other level of analysis.
Okay. Any more questions there on our fans forum?
We got another one. I thought this was a good comment that was made by a guy named Rock Riley. And he says, Hacksaw, I cover the Bucs here in Tampa, and you are spot on. Impressive.
I know what I know and what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But clubs can fix their bad seasons fairly quickly. The draft and not making mistakes in free agency. You do have to have a paintbrush that gives you a little bit of luck with the injury factor. So that's why free agency is so important. Even though the salary cap has gone up, players' salaries have gone up. So if you make a mistake on a marquee free agent, boy, you take a bullet. It really sets you back along the way. But we'll talk more free agency once we get through Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, well, even just the Chargers signing in the offseason with Jackson, that didn't pan out. And that's kind of put a world of hurt on him as well.
Oh, exactly. Hey, listen, we thank you for being with us on our bonus coverage on a Monday. We invite you multiples of things you need to do. Want you to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts so you'll get the alerts. We put things up every day now on our podcast. Also invite you to go to my website. It's all written. I think once you start to read it, you'll get excited about it. It's leehacksawhamilton.com. I write on it every day of the week. We'll be back Thursday with a Super Bowl preview. I don't know if he's wearing green or red when we get to our Super Bowl preview on Thursday. But, John, have yourself a great week. We'll be back Thursday with Hacksaw's headlines on our podcast.
Yeah, looking forward. It's going to be a great week.
Thanks for being with us, as always. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you Thursday.